The world mourned Iron Man, but his armor never powered down. Spider-Man stood alone at the grave, whispering, "It's not over." Because Peter saw something the others didn't. Tony's heart never beat like a human's. It pulsed like a signal, a beacon. Now, something alien is answering that call. And Spider-Man is the only one who knows it's already here. The world had already moved on. Captain America had returned to silence. Thor disappeared into the stars. Hulk buried himself in shadows. But Spider-Man stood still, alone. The rain cut through his suit as if it wanted to bury the truth with the man they'd just lowered into the ground. Tony Stark, genius, savior, sacrifice. Everyone believed he died a hero. Everyone believed it was over. But Peter Parker never believed in easy endings. He stayed long after the others left, the thunder rumbling like an echo from the Battle of Earth. He knelt by the tombstone, heart pounding, the weight of too many unanswered questions breaking through his chest. The Stark Tech gloves in his backpack buzzed softly, faint heat, a rhythmic vibration. He pulled them out, eyes narrowing. The gauntlets were synced with Tony's arc reactor. They shouldn't respond to anything anymore. No one had access, no override, no power left, unless something was still pulsing. Peter didn't wait. He slipped the gloves on, wiped the rain from the HUD, and tapped into the last sync signal. And there it was, steady, quiet, impossible. A heartbeat. The reactor, the one that died with Tony, was alive. Back at his apartment, Peter locked himself in, every screen filled with star code. His fingers flew across the keyboard. He bypassed every firewall Tony had taught him about. And then he hit something he wasn't supposed to. A blinking symbol. One he'd never seen before. Not English, not Earth. A pulse reading radiating from the last known position of the arc reactor. Not buried with Tony. Launched into orbit. Peter's breath caught. He thought back to their last conversation. The one nobody knew happened. The one Tony had whispered just before heading into the final battle. If something activates after I'm gone, don't touch it. Don't investigate. Don't even speak its name. But Peter wasn't built for silence. He was built for guilt, for truth, for responsibility. He borrowed one of the remaining stealth suits from the Avengers compound, bypassing security with a code only Tony and he shared, a joke password. I am Iron Kid. At 3 a.m., Spider-Man was in orbit. The satellite was unregistered, Stark built, hidden even from S.H.I.E.L.D. Its outer hull shimmered with nanite armor that responded to his approach. And the moment Peter touched it, the heartbeat grew louder. Inside, the arc reactor floated in a stasis pod, still glowing, still alive. But it wasn't just power. It was data. Layers of language, not human, not AI. Living code. And it was speaking to something. A low-frequency transmission repeating one message. Origin unknown. Host expired. Awaiting resurrection. Peter recoiled. Resurrection. Suddenly, the pod lights dimmed, then flickered back in red, and a voice filled the satellite. But it wasn't Tony's voice. It wasn't a voice at all. It was inside his head. You were always meant to see this, Peter Parker. Peter staggered back. Who are you? Not who. What? I was never part of your war. I only lived because Stark feared the truth. Tony built you? No. He found me, buried beneath the sand in Afghanistan. Peter's mind spiraled. The arc reactor, the very thing that gave Tony life, wasn't invented. It was recovered, and now it was awakening. Peter sent a ping to Earth, encrypted. Only one person could decode it, Shuri in Wakanda. Within minutes, her hologram flickered beside him. You shouldn't be up here, she said, her eyes instantly catching the reactor behind him. Is that? Peter nodded. Still beating. Shuri scanned the frequencies and froze. That's not vibranium. That's not any element I've seen. It's older, like the tech we found near Titan. It's transmitting in recursive loops, organic loops. Peter leaned closer to the stasis chamber. The pulse wasn't a reactor. It was a brain. You're telling me Tony's heart was never mechanical, he whispered. Shuri looked grim. I'm telling you, it was never his to begin with. Suddenly, the satellite shuddered. The arc reactor blinked violently. A shadow passed across the observation window, but there was nothing outside. Peter felt it before he saw it. A spike in his senses. Not danger, recognition. The nanites of his borrowed suit began to flicker. Lines of red. A voice echoed again. You're compatible. The host is gone, but the successor stands ready. No, Peter growled. I'm not like him. You're smarter, younger. You already feel it. The void, the weight, the guilt. That's how it begins. Peter reached for the failsafe switch, hands shaking. But the stasis pod opened first, and the arc reactor levitated into the air and moved toward him. Shuri shouted through the comms, Peter, get out of there. But Peter couldn't move. His legs were locked, his breath shallow. The arc reactor stopped inches from his chest and whispered in Tony's voice, Kid. Peter's heart cracked. That voice had meant everything. That voice had saved him. But this wasn't Tony. It was a mimic, a memory being used as bait. Peter shut his eyes. I'm sorry. I miss you. But I won't let your death be hijacked. He yanked the failsafe. Electricity flooded the chamber. The satellite screamed. The reactor fell, smoking, dimming, twitching. Peter grabbed it in shaking hands, sealed it in a containment core, and bolted for re-entry. As Earth's gravity pulled him home, the reactor pulsed once more in his hand. Not dead, not human, not done. Peter whispered the words to himself as the clouds split and the ground raced closer. You lied to them all, Tony. But you knew I'd come looking. And from the sky, Spider-Man fell, not as a hero, but as a witness to something the world wasn't ready to remember. Peter didn't sleep. He couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the arc reactor floating in front of him, whispering, pulsing, acting alive. He placed the containment core on the table of his small apartment, every light off, only the glow from the reactor illuminating the room. His fingers trembled as he tapped the Stark interface open. He'd never seen the code behave like this. Lines rewriting themselves, shifting, reorganizing. Not random, not glitching, communicating. Peter hit record. Log 1. The reactor is thinking. He swallowed hard, and I think it's thinking about me. But the code wasn't something he could fight alone. He needed someone smarter, someone who understood energy signatures outside the human spectrum. So he called Shuri. Her hologram appeared instantly, eyes sharp, expression tight. You brought it back, didn't you? Peter nodded. It attacked me. It didn't attack, she corrected. It tested you. That's worse. She projected a scan of the reactor in midair. The core was built of elements she couldn't categorize. The frequency waves folded into themselves, repeating in spirals like a biological heartbeat. Peter, Shuri whispered, this isn't a reactor. This is a prison. Peter stepped closer. Then who was the prisoner? Shuri zoomed in on the subatomic lattice near the center. This pattern. I've seen something like it. On Titan. In the debris left after Thanos' ship exploded. Peter felt the air leave his lungs. You're saying this power source is connected to Titan? No. I am saying Titan might have feared whoever created this. Peter rubbed his forehead. Tony didn't invent it. He reverse engineered it. Shuri nodded, and never told anyone, probably for a reason. But before they could analyze further, the reactor pulsed violently, a sharp, painful sound that cut straight through Peter's skull. Shuri's hologram flickered. Peter, it's broadcasting again. He ripped off the gloves and stumbled back, but the code had already breached the room. Symbols crawling across every screen, rewriting themselves in real time. The pulse grew louder, then louder, then deafening. Peter clamped his hands over his ears, but the sound wasn't physical. It was inside his head. He felt the world slipping, colors bending, gravity twisting. And suddenly, he wasn't in his apartment anymore. He was somewhere else, floating, in a cold, infinite void. A voice rippled through the darkness, patient, ancient, disappointed. You think Stark was your mentor, but he belonged to me. The darkness swirled, forming a shape, Not human, not machine, something in between. Thousands of reflective shards orbiting around a glowing center. Peter floated helplessly. "Who are you?" he shouted. "A memory, a seed, a fragment of what was once a cosmic mind." The arc reactor's shape grew clearer, a star collapsing inward. "This device you call a heart, it was once my prison. Your mentor thought he controlled it, but he only delayed the inevitable." Peter forced himself to breathe. "Tony saved the world. He didn't serve you." "Save the world," the voice mocked. "He prolonged your illusion. His brilliance was a candle, and I am the star that consumed it." The void pulsed. Images flashed around Peter. Tony building the Mark I in the cave, soldering the arc reactor, sweating, fighting for breath. Only now Peter saw what Tony never showed anyone. The reactor pulsed in sync with something beneath the sand. Not a bomb, not a weapon, a living core. Tony didn't build his salvation. He disturbed something buried, and it latched on. "What do you want from me?" Peter whispered. "You are the next host." Stark weakened me, but your mind, your guilt, your need for purpose fits perfectly. The darkness stretched forward, reaching for him. Peter screamed, and suddenly, flash. He was back in his apartment. Shuri's voice yelled from his earpiece. "Peter, your brainwaves spiked." "What happened?" He collapsed to the floor. "It spoke to me." "The reactor?" "No, something inside it. Something that used Tony and now wants me." The lights flickered. The reactor's glow shifted from blue to a deep burning red. It wasn't dormant anymore. It was awake and angry. Peter knew he had one option left. The one person who understood dimensions, energy, and minds more than anyone alive. Dr. Strange. The Sanctum Sanctorum doors burst open as Peter stumbled inside, still shaking. Strange lifted an eyebrow. "I told you after the whole multiverse incident. Stop knocking like you're running from a cosmic horror." Peter panted. "I am running from a cosmic horror." Strange frowned as Peter set the containment core on the table. The reactor pulsed, and Strange's cloak twitched, almost recoiling. Strange leaned in, eyes narrowing. "This isn't Stark tech. That's what I've been trying to tell everyone." Strange hovered his hands above it, and a shockwave burst outward, knocking over books, rattling walls. Strange stepped back immediately. "It's sentient," he muttered. "And searching." "For what?" Peter asked. Strange gave him a grim look. "A new host." Peter's stomach twisted. "Me." Strange didn't deny it. "Your mind is structured like Stark's. Genius, unstable, emotionally driven, constantly guilt-ridden. It preys on that." Strange closed his eyes and opened a third golden eye above his forehead. When he looked at the reactor, he saw something Peter couldn't. A parasite, growing, alive. "Stark didn't die keeping the world safe," Strange whispered. "He died containing this." Peter felt like the room collapsed around him. "He never told me." "He couldn't," Strange said. "If he did, the entity would have jumped hosts early, probably straight to you." Peter staggered. "So he protected me. And now," Strange said, "you must decide if you will do the same." The reactor pulsed again. This time, the pulse wasn't a beat, it was a call. Somewhere far away, something answered. A deep rumble shook the sanctum. Wong rushed in. "Strange. The sky just opened over Manhattan. Something is coming through a breach." Peter's heart dropped. Strange turned to him. "This is not an invasion. This is a retrieval." The ground vibrated harder. "Whatever was imprisoned in Tony Stark's chest," Strange said slowly, "is coming back to collect itself." Peter swallowed, his voice barely a whisper. "And it wants me first." The walls cracked. The lights blew out. And from the center of the containment core, the arc reactor rose on its own. Slowly, violently, alive, ready. Strange tightened his fists. "Peter, run." But Peter didn't move. He couldn't. Because the reactor wasn't just alive, it was evolving. Nanites snaked outward, forming armor like tendrils. And the last thing Peter heard before everything went white was a whisper. Tony's voice, but twisted. "Let's build something together, kid." Tony Stark never built that reactor. The explosion shattered everything. Glass, Walls. Silence. Doctor Strange's barrier barely held. The arc reactor hovered midair, pieces of its containment core peeled away like old skin. What remained wasn't mechanical. It was alive, pulsing red, breathing like a heart without a body. Peter stared in frozen horror as it reached toward him again. Not physically, psychically. He could feel it brushing through his memories, his grief, his regrets, his guilt. You let him die. You could have stopped it. You owe him. Stop, Peter gasped, clutching his head. Get out. The arc flared, and suddenly the room twisted inside out. Peter wasn't in the sanctum anymore. He was inside Tony's memory. Desert heat, sandstorm winds, Afghanistan, the cave. He saw it, not as footage, but as if he were there. Tony, chained to the table. Wires, scrap metal, shrapnel in his chest. But instead of building the arc reactor, he was staring at something already formed. A black orb, pulsing faintly. Ian's son hovered nearby, whispering in fear. That wasn't here yesterday. Tony touched it. The orb pulsed, and then it changed. The first arc reactor didn't come from Tony's mind. It came from this. Peter stumbled back. The vision faded. He dropped to his knees in the middle of the sanctum. Strange helped him up. What did it show you? Peter's voice cracked. The first arc reactor, it wasn't his invention. It was a shell. He built around it. Strange's expression darkened. He found something buried, something that wanted to be worn. They both turned toward the reactor, now splitting open like a flower made of armor, revealing a hollow core. No wires, no circuitry, just space, shaped perfectly for a chest. Strange whispered, "It wants a host again." Peter stepped forward. "No, it wants to finish what it started." The arc reactor spoke, not with words, with memories. Tony's voice, laughing, crying, pleading. "Kid, I tried to fight it. I thought I could bury it. I thought I could be smarter than it. But it needed a mind, a broken one, and I gave it mine." Peter clutched his head as the voice crawled through his thoughts. "You said I'd be better than you. Why would you leave this behind?" "Because I had no choice." The images came faster. Tony injecting nanites into his bloodstream, uploading firewalls into his own brain, burning memories just to hide secrets, trying to trap a cosmic parasite inside tech he never understood, just to give the world time. Not victory, time. And now that time was up. The reactor began reconstructing armor from thin air, pieces forming, plates snapping into place, red and gold glowing like a heartbeat. Not Iron Man's suit, not exactly, but close. An Iron Man remix, corrupted, incomplete, infected. Strange stepped between Peter and the growing construct. "Get out of here, now." "I can't leave it," Peter said. "You're not leaving it. You're keeping it away from everyone else." Strange opened a portal, but the reactor fired a pulse, slamming Strange across the room. The armor lunged for Peter. He dodged, barely, webbing the ceiling, flipping high, dragging the corrupted core back with a strand of nanoweb. "Don't you dare wear his voice like a costume," Peter shouted. The suit reassembled in the air, floating like a ghost in gold plating. The arc reactor throbbed at its center, breathing. "You already wear his guilt," it said, in a voice mixed with Tony's and something alien. Peter gritted his teeth. "I don't need to be him." "But you want to." The suit lunged again. This time, it wasn't after Peter's body. It was after his mind. Flashes of the past struck him like lightning. Uncle Ben dying, Gwen falling, Tony reaching for the gauntlet. The silence after the snap, the sound of dust, the weight of being the one left behind. Peter screamed and launched a web line straight into the reactor. It absorbed the shot, pulled him forward, and collided with him mid-air. But instead of killing him, it wrapped around him, clamped onto his wrists, snaked around his chest, fused with his suit. The AI voice softened. "Let me carry your pain." Peter fell to one knee. For a second, it felt good. The weight vanished. The fear quieted. His thoughts slowed. His pulse synced with the reactor's rhythm. He could hear Tony's voice again. "You don't have to fight anymore, kid. Let me help you. Let me take the hits." Peter whispered, "I miss you." "I know. I needed you. I'm still here." And that was the trap. Peter's hands shook. The arc reactor began folding over his chest like a final lock. He looked down, saw the Iron Man plating cover his palms. A new interface flashed. Host link stabilized. Neural permission granted. Peter clenched his fists. No. He activated an emergency override, a last resort virus hidden in the Iron Spider suit's old code. "A parting gift from Tony," he whispered. "You built this for me, didn't you? Just in case." He activated it. The reactor screamed. The armor recoiled, twisting, glitching, sparking. Peter tore it from his chest, flung it across the sanctum, and webbed it to the floor in a seal made of runes Strange had shown him years ago, but he never thought he'd need. Strange crawled back to his feet, blood on his face, breath ragged. "You resisted it," he said, surprised. Peter looked broken. "I almost didn't." The core pulsed again, weakly, flickering red. But now it sounded scared. Peter knelt beside it. "You're not him. You're not Tony. You're just a voice that learned how to wear a man." The core said nothing. Peter stood. "This thing isn't a reactor. It's an echo. And now it's desperate." Strange looked at him, voice low. "And desperate things get dangerous." Peter nodded. "Then we end it. For real this time." But before they could move, the reactor sent out one last pulse. A single beacon. Into space. To something waiting. Something listening. The sanctum shook. And in the sky above New York, a tear opened. And something answered. The sky split like skin under pressure. Every New Yorker stopped and stared as a vertical wound opened above Manhattan. Black, bleeding light. Humming like a cosmic horn no one could hear, but everyone could feel. At its center, something massive descending. No ship. No engine. Just metal. Alive. Forged from the pulse of the arc reactor. Peter and Strange stood in the shattered sanctum, watching the tear widen. "It's building something," Peter muttered. "And it's using Tony's blueprints." Strange clenched his fists. "No, it's using Tony's grief." Above, the nanites responded to the reactor's call, drawn from old Stark satellites, ruined suits, abandoned tech. They slithered together in midair, reconstructing themselves without instruction, like iron dust pulled into a God-shaped mold. Within seconds, a colossal figure floated above the skyline, 12 stories tall, wearing armor too sleek, too alien, too perfect to be made by human hands. An Iron Man colossus. But the arc reactor at its core glowed red. It wasn't a hero. It was a signal. Peter webbed onto Strange's shoulder. "Get me up there." Strange opened a portal. Peter shot through. He landed on the giant's shoulder just as its head turned. No eyes, no mouth, just a smooth faceplate with shifting glyphs. It tilted, recognizing him. Host candidate, Peter Parker. Neuralink denied. Peter crouched low, eyes narrowed. Good. He fired a barrage of web bombs at the neck. Nothing. The suit absorbed it like rain. Then it moved, not fast, not angry. Precise. A hand reached for the buildings below. Not to destroy, to scan. Peter's breath hitched. "It's not here to fight." Strange's voice echoed through the comm. "It's mapping the planet. Looking for infrastructure. Host cities. Energy lines. Power grids." Peter's heart dropped. "It's not taking over." Strange finished the thought. "It's preparing to replace us." Suddenly, the armor retracted its outer plating, revealing inside a cocoon of new reactors, each one pulsing in sync with a core Peter had rejected. They were growing, spreading, replicating, and one of them, just one, looked different, smaller, spider-shaped. Peter stared, realization cutting, like ice. "It's building one for me." The glyphs on the faceplate flickered. "You refuse the gift, so it will grow without you." Peter launched toward the chest, aiming straight for the core. Mid-flight, the Colossus opened ports across its arms, firing drones made of pure arc energy. Peter flipped through blasts, weaving web after web, trying to reach the core. The armor shifted. It anticipated him, copied his moves, fought like him, learned like him. Because it didn't just want a new body. It wanted everything Tony ever admired. And that included Peter Parker. Peter landed on the chest plate, arms shaking. "I'm not your legacy." The glyphs glowed brighter. "You are exactly that. His code, his grief, his failure. You are his final formula." Peter planted a stark, over-eyed chip near the core. A last-ditch fail-safe Tony never let anyone touch. Then here's the formula rewritten. He activated it. The chest exploded in a flash of white. The armor buckled, staggered, nanites flailing, structure collapsing midair. Peter fell, caught mid-drop by strange portal just before he hit the street. The giant collapsed above the Hudson, drowning in its own unfinished code. Peter stood, trembling, but the pulse in his wrist still ticked. The signal wasn't dead, just waiting. And the reactor in the vault, the one they thought was contained, was missing. The reactor was gone. The vault door lay twisted like paper. No alarms, no trail, just an eerie hum that vibrated through Peter's bones. He didn't need a tracker. He could feel where it went. He swung through the cold morning skyline, faster than ever, dodging through wind, webs snapping against frozen glass. Every second the thing stayed free. It learned more, adapted more, wanted more, and now it had a host. He landed on top of Stark Tower, or what was left of it. That's where it waited. Not in the lab, not in the workshop. The arc reactor stood upright, floating midair in what used to be Tony's office, armored now in something new, part Iron Man, part alien elegance. A hybrid. It had chosen a shell, a hollow Iron Man suit rebuilt from scraps, and inside it not a body, but the core itself. No pilot, just a ghost. The voice that came next was cold. "Welcome back, Peter." He stepped into the ruined floor, web slingers charged, eyes burning. Dropped the voice. "You're not him." The suit cocked his head. "And yet I know everything he did. Every line of code, every heartbeat, every memory of you. Then, you know he died trying to keep you buried." Correction. He died trying to use me. Just like you will. The reactor suit charged. Peter ducked low, dodging plasma blasts, flipping across broken beams. His mind raced. He couldn't outpower this, couldn't outfly it, but maybe he could outthink it. He let the suit chase him, down through the tower's elevator shaft, through levels of half-built tech, into the lower vaults. Just like the original, just like Tony's cave. He webbed a cable, yanked it, and the floor exploded, dropping the suit into the core chamber, where Tony used to test reactors. Peter followed, landing hard. The suit rose from the dust. "You're trying to recreate the past, just like he did." "No," Peter said. "I'm trying to finish what he started." He pulled the trigger. Magnetic fields surged from the walls. The room sealed shut. This was built to destroy any version of the suit, even his. The reactor flared. "You destroy everything he made?" Peter stared down the red glow in its chest. "No, just the part that never belonged." The suit fired. Peter fired. Webs met plasma in midair. Sparks lit the room like thunder. The fight was brutal. Close range. Steel and flesh and memory clashing. The reactor suit adapted fast. Too fast. Peter was bleeding. On his back. The reactor hovered over him. "You're too soft." "Maybe," Peter muttered. "But you made one mistake." "And what's that?" Peter grinned, blood in his teeth. "I wasn't trying to kill you." He reached out and slapped a tiny metal disc onto the core. It blinked once. Then Tony's voice echoed from it. "Hey kid, you finally used the kill switch." The core paused. "Tony," Peter whispered, not a voice, a trap. The disc pulsed. The armor locked. The magnetic chamber surged, reversing polarity. The suit screamed as pieces tore away. The reactor thrashed, trying to escape, trying to latch onto Peter again. But this time he didn't flinch. He walked forward, held the core in his hands, and whispered goodbye. He crushed it between both palms. The light died. The room fell silent. No voice, no hum, just Peter standing alone. And for the first time since the funeral, he let go. Later, at the rebuilt Avengers base, Peter placed what remained of the reactor into a stasis vault. Sealed, buried, no AI, no voice. Just silence. He pressed his hand to the glass. You weren't your worst mistake, Tony. He looked out at the sky. But I won't let your silence become mine. Then he walked away, not as Iron Man, not as his successor, but as himself, Spider-Man, the last wall between Earth and what still waits beyond the stars.